All right, let's move on. All right, so we're now going to speak with someone who was part of the LDDI team up until very recently, our old learning technology rover, Aidan. And Aidan is going to be speaking about ChatGPT. Aidan, I'm so amazed by the work that you've done on this, but could you sort of describe your project a little bit?
Sure. So in this project, I compared GPT-3.5, that's the free version of ChatGPT, with the GPT-4 $20 per month subscription. And I wanted to kind of experiment and see the difference in quality, and I thought it was very eye-opening.
Okay.
So the first thing is that I gave the exact same prompt to both versions, and I asked them to produce a list of tasks. And these are AI functions, AI tasks, a lot of writing, like creative writing, poetry, philosophical questions. And the main point of this test is to turn these lists of tasks into a Shakespearean sonnet.
Okay.
So it's a turn like technical writing into creative writing,
Totally.
basically.
And sonnets are very technically like there's a lot of pieces that it must have to be classified as a sonnet, right?
Right, yeah. So if we think about the classic Sonnet 18, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? There's a specific meter called iambic pentameter.
Yeah.
There are 10 syllables per line, and the stresses go like, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? It's a very light, like upbeat sort of meter. But you also have to think that the words have to fit that meter very specifically. And the rhyme scheme is also very specific. It's A, B, A, B. There are 3 verses of 4 lines each and an ending 2 lines. A lot of structure, a lot of you're almost fit into this rigid box, and you have to fit all of the words into there.
Really specific constraints for it to build something based on that list that you want them to generate.
Yeah. And the second part of the second restriction is that if they listed, for example, creative writing in the task list, they can't use the words creative or writing.
Okay.
So
wow, that's really tough.
Yeah. So it's kind of to encourage the AIs to think outside the box and kind of encourage that free creative expression to reimagine the tasks in maybe more artistic way. Okay. So this one was 3.5's output.
Big old poem.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bigger than the other ones that you showed earlier.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So then instead of 14 lines, this is actually 14 stanzas.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's too long to actually fit in here. And what's more interesting is that each of the tasks, you'll see here, for example, from creative realms, the first task takes flight. And that means that it took the first task of the list, creative writing, and just said, here's creative writing, here's a stanza for it.
And it definitely used the word creative, which
Yeah.
is one of the things you told it not to do.
Yes, for sure. And this goes on again it had 10 tasks in the list. It had 10 stanzas, one for each task.
Okay. Okay.
It's very rigid, very literal with its interpretation. And then I thought back to the prompt, and I thought maybe there are too many moving parts. Maybe this is too complicated. Yeah. What should I expect from GPT-4, right?
Oh god.
Yeah.
So perfect, essentially.
Yeah, essentially. It followed the meter perfectly. 10 syllables per line with the correct heartbeat kind of rhythm.
Wow.
And the rhyme scheme is perfect and all that. What's more interesting is that each task, it has 1 line for each task, but each of them had a very creative interpretation, like a reimagining in imagery and metaphor. So, for example, the quill doth dance, embracing bold intrigue.
Wow. It's kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this really goes to show like how much better GPT-4 is. That's not to really endorse the subscription, but it really comes into question of those who can afford it, those who can't.
Oh, absolutely.
how we should be designing our assignments as well.
Yeah.
If this is what you could produce, just for free, not for free, but like you just produce it in a few seconds, and that bypasses a lot of the learning process, the creative process to develop those skills. Yeah.
I can imagine too, because you were mentioning the price point, like just the massive change in the quality of the product that's produced. Having that $20 a month subscription makes a really big difference to what you can make, right? I can see this being a pretty big equity issue. Not, and AI is such a hot topic in education at the moment. This is a really, really interesting experiment and only a little bit terrifying. But really like a really great illustration of what ChatGPT can do, but the real like power imbalance that sort of presents as well. Thank you so much. This is so interesting. Cool. Thanks, Aidan.